Good evening. My name is Christina Davis, and I've been assigned role rehearsal. What is role rehearsal? Role rehearsal is adding new perspectives by role playing. It was derived from the empty chair technique, Gestalt therapy. So, as you guys all know, we've actually been experiencing role playing here in our course. We've experienced it twice so far, and we got to experience as the coach and as a client. So pretty much I'm just going to go over all the information involving role rehearsal for those that may not understand or just want to hear a little bit more information uh, in regards to role rehearsal. When should it be used? Role rehearsal is used when client tells a story concerning the development of new perspectives and to challenge blind spots. They will be challenging new ways to negotiate and testing new ways of being assertive. And this, which we'll talk about more later, but the negotiation and being assertive works both for the coach and the client, and as you'll see later. How does it work? The scenario is first introduced. So you'll get a general scenario, what will happen. So we'll talk about what the coach will be saying, what the client will be saying, and then it may have a different role or may have just vice versa for the second set when you're changed from the client to the coach. Role play scenario will be next. So you'll actually get to see the role play take place either in person or via telephone. And then the next step is debrief, see what was learned, what went well, what didn't go well, what new knowledge or skills you need to develop. So that just gives you a little idea of what debrief means. Next, the role play scenario the second time, but with different replies. And maybe when you first heard the role play scenario, it didn't work well. So therefore, maybe you ask the clients or you ask the coaches, well, what can change from the original role play? And then therefore, that's what you'll input it when you replay as the role play the second time. The next step, you're going to switch roles. So if I was the coach the first time, the second time I might be the client, just so that you can get a complete understanding of both roles. And plus it'll help out the entire scenario. So the better understanding of why you're doing this scenario. And the last thing is decipher what is role play and what is reality. So the whole scenario most likely is going to be written up for a scenario that's happening in the workplace. Because the whole idea behind this is to improve your techniques, to get past something that may be going on in the workplace. Basically, any type of improvement is what you're looking for during role play. What skills does the coach or mentor need? First, you have clear instructions. And the reason why you need clear instructions is because if you basically just shout out that you need this done for the role play, the role rehearsal, there's a lot of people that may not follow, and then they won't be able to get across the message that you're trying to point out. So, or maybe not everyone heard the scenario. So, it's very important that you make the role rehearsal as clear as possible. The flexibility to change between roles. This is very important because not everyone sees both sides to a position, like as a coach or as a client, because um, they don't always get the opportunity to see what the other role takes on. So it's important so that they get more experience, more better understanding, and then the ability to debrief. Um, it's very important to have the opportunity to find out the the basically the why and the what's that's going on in the scenario. Sensitivity. Emotions will be involved when ideas and actions are introduced. When you create a scenario, especially if it's involving a certain situation that's in the workplace, it most likely is going to bring up people's emotions, because maybe the clients are not even understanding that this is going on in the workplace, and maybe this is the first time that they're hearing about it through a role play. So their emotions may be directly involved in the scenario. Next page. What are the advantages? The advantages brings workplace to reality. Another one is digs deep into difficult settings. Empathy, assertion, and negotiation utilize in a safe environment. So a lot of the advantages is what we just talked about in the last slide. The second one digs deep into difficult settings. It allows a person to, maybe when you switch roles, it allows them to see a different side of the situation so that they can see the role rehearsal done differently. It may bring them a better understanding of what's going on. So, the advantage would be that they would be taking something from the role play and they'd be able to adapt it into their work environment. The disadvantages, what are the disadvantages? In chapter 9 it says that the disadvantages are none, but it does give some examples of how there could be disadvantages, and one of them is not all the clients will use role play. Not everyone has an open mind to a new perspective, so not everyone is going to want to experience role play. One of my previous jobs, we had to role play, and everyone kind of just laughed that we had a role play, and no one took it serious, and no one even really dug deep or listened to the scenario. And because of that, no one benefited from the role play. But it was basically to teach us new skills at the time, because I was into real estate at the time, and it allowed us to see how, like, to close. The whole role play was to close better, to be able to close on a customer. And like I said, no one took it serious, so no one got anything out of it. So that's where it could be a disadvantage. And another thing that was mentioned was allow enough time to debrief. If you don't allow enough time to debrief, you won't know exactly like how or what, or basically, did anyone get anything out of the whole role play scenario. So I think it's very important that you allow time to debrief. Lastly, are there any useful references? In chapter 9 it also gave us 3 listed references, so I went ahead and copied them down for those that are interested in looking into role rehearsal further. Maybe they find that role rehearsal role play is very useful in a job, and maybe in their job setting. So the first one is Blattner of 1996, Acting in Practical Applications of Psychodramatic Methods. The second one is Ritchie and Leary, 1998, Resolving Conflicts in Organizations. And the last site, which I actually utilize myself, is Mind Tools. They have a section, sorry about that, they have a section on role playing. And the last page is just my references. Does anyone have any questions? And thanks for listening. Again, my name is Christina Davis, and my presentation was on role rehearsal. Thanks for listening.